And we are back today with another booster box opening. Today we're going to be opening up the second part of the Japanese sets that will be part of the newest English set, that being Twilight Masquerade. And today we have the Mask of Change. So Mask of Change, this is a set that is very heavily featuring Ogerpon, who is front and center on the box there. So we'll go ahead, we'll get right into this here. I was able to find this booster box actually when we were out of state. I was actually able to find this up in Salem, Massachusetts, while we were kind of going up there for some family stuff. A lot of the other boxes I had been finding online were roughly around the same price, plus you had the shipping from Japan, which added a little bit to it. So being able to find this up there for right around the same price that I was finding online was definitely a nice little change of pace, since it did end up saving me some money. I was hopeful that they would have had at least 2 boxes up there, since we did 2 for the Crimson Haze. Unfortunately, this was their last box, but I still wanted to get it. So we'll only be doing 1 box today, but this is a Japanese booster box, so we will have 30 packs, each pack containing 5 cards. And like I said, here's a little bit better image of Ogerpon here. We'll get that focused up a little bit better. But yeah, so Ogerpon is essentially the mascot legendary for the Teal Mask DLC from Scarlet and Violet. Kind of its whole gimmick was, one sec here, kind of feel that we're just about to potentially damage the actual cards right there, and make sure we get this opened up correctly. There we go. Okay. But yeah, so Ogerpon is the mascot legendary in that for the Teal Mask DLC. This whole gimmick is, so it starts off as a grass type. And there we go. So first pack, okay, we got Ogerpon EX here. This is the Teal Mask variant, or the standard one. So that's pretty cool. There are 4 different masks. But yeah, essentially what the masks do is they change up Ogerpon's typing, or they at least add a type to its typing. Ogerpon typically starts off as a pure grass type. And then if you put on one of the 3 different masks you can get, just because one of them kind of comes standard to the Pokemon, it will change up its typing. So you can get, I believe it's fire, rock, and water. So Poliwhirl, Darumaka, can't remember that name, Palafin, and then that is one of the locations from the game. It's Kitakami, but I can't remember exactly what that particular area is called. But yeah, so Ogerpon's kind of the mascot to this DLC. I know the DLC has been out for a while now, but we're not going to give out really any spoilers on it, but it does play a pretty big role in the storyline to it. And then, of course, Ogerpon has been pretty successful so far from what it looks like on the competitive side of Pokemon, especially knowing that it has 4 different types that it can really be. So it does make it a little trickier to kind of counter, since you could be playing against one that's water and grass, or fire and grass, so on and so forth. And on top of that, it does also gain different abilities depending on the mask that you give it, as well as, okay, there we go, we have Okidogi. So this is one of the other legendaries from the set that is part of the storyline for Ogerpon. Wasn't actually a big fan of, I can't remember what I think they're originally known as the Heroic Trio or something along those lines, but they end up not being so heroic. Wasn't really a super huge fan of the actual Pokemon themselves, I did recently kind of go through and mess around with them a little bit just to see what all they were capable of. Didn't really think too highly of most of them, but there is... Okay, there we go. There's Monkey Dory. So we got Okidogi, Monkey Dory, and then Pheasantipity. So they are, I will say, in terms of the names, they are pretty clever. I think that's kind of the highlight of them. And then, of course, there is the mythical Pokemon as well that kind of acts as the ringleader in that. For at least that trio. Okay, there we go. So, looks like we did get, one of the full arts of it. And this is, again, the Teal Mass variant. So, I'm going to be honest, just kind of like a lot of my other gripes with some of these cards before, I think it still stands where I just think if they would add some more color, kind of varying on the typing of the card, that would really help them out. I do know there are a bunch of Illustrator rares for this set, so those ones do look good. And I get it, those are maybe like the second highest rarity for the set, so I understand that they're not going to be crazy fancy with them. But Abra, Seaking, there's our A-Spec Trainer. So I believe these are now 1 per box. And I think if you get an English box, I think it's 2 or 3 that you get per box. Granted, that is because English is combining 2 different sets, so really, I think if you buy like a box of this and a box of Crimson Haze, granted the Japanese stuff is a little cheaper, but you are going to be kind of coming out pretty close to what you'd be spending on a traditional English box. And I do think we will probably do 1 box of this in English as well, and maybe some of the trainer boxes. As of right now, I think I've only seen that they're doing 1 style of the ETB, which is kind of interesting because if I remember correctly, I think other than Obsidian Flame and Paldean Fates, and then of course 151, I think every other set has had at least like 2 different style of booster or ETBs come out. Which I do think this would be a pretty prime set for that. I guess if they really wanted to nickel and dime you, they could do 4, 1 for each mass, but maybe it's good just to keep those feelings inside. But there we go. We got Trevenant. Can't remember. Farfetch'd. Okay, and then there is Pheasantipity. So it's the Loyal 3. I'm sorry, it wasn't the Heroic 3. That just popped in my mind. So that is the last of the Loyal 3 there. But I do know they are going to kind of be the poster childs for, it looks like, what's going to be the next set following Twilight Masquerade, which is kind of crazy to think that I think I saw the other day that they were already taking pre-orders for that. Granted, I know even though this box has been out for a little while, it will be up closer to when the English set comes out. But yeah, it already kind of feels like, you know, we just had a set drop and they're already planning for the next one. But out of this set, I think really Ogerpon's kind of the big thing, of course. I can't really remember a whole lot from this. I do know Dragapult is in here. Okay. And then there is Tatsugiri. That is actually a really cool looking full art right there. Or I guess this would technically be like Trainer's Gallery or something along those lines. But that is really nice looking. But yeah, Dragapult was kind of the other big one that I saw. Just because I probably have to say that's become my favorite pseudo-legendary. in the Pokemon franchise. We'll always have a soft spot, though, for old Tyranitar and even Dragonite, but Dragapult, I think, just nailed it. And then we got Dripplin there. So Dripplin was a new Applin evolution. And there is a further evolution onto that, Hydrapple, which it looks like we will be probably getting in a later set, something that corresponds more with the Indigo Disc and that DLC, which I believe I said in one of my last videos. I can't remember which one, but that was one of the first times. Okay, speaking of Dragapult, there he is. So, looks like this is a standard dragon terrestrialization for it. Pretty cool, though. I am happy to see Dragapult in here, and then Aggron. But the Indigo Disc was a DLC that allowed you to get all the starter Pokemon, at least from Gens 1 through 8. Granted, it's Gen 9, so you kind of have to play the game to get those ones or do trades. And then the Hisuian ones were not available, although they did bring their final evolutions available in the raids. But it would be kind of cool to see Pokemon do something with that. And then Milotic there. One thing I will say, and I believe this is, yeah, Carmine. I was not a big fan of like the hairstyle that they gave the two kind of main characters from this particular DLC. There's just something about it that just looks so weird. I don't know if it's maybe a style that's popular in Japan or in like other animes or something like that, but to me it was one of those things that every time I saw it, it just progressively got worse. So we got Volbeat here, Luxio, Abra. Okay, and then there we go. We got the Dripplin full art. That's a really nice looking card. And then Revavroom. So we've at least got some decent stuff out of this box. I know, I think we're probably coming up on a lot of our major hits. We've probably already gotten that with the Ogerpon full art there, but hopefully we can at least see one of the other masks. Phanthump. I know that's not Conkeldurr, but I can't remember what its middle evolution is. That is kind of one of the things is, as much as I do like the Japanese cards, it is always kind of weird when, you're playing the game, and I can easily sit there and rattle off like, oh yeah, that's so-and-so. But as soon as it goes into another language, it's like, oh, it's that one, which doesn't really narrow it down. And then there is the new Kitakami kind of regional form evolution of Sinistea. I believe this is Sinistra. So pretty cool there. But overall, for those of you that have played the game and are kind of maybe still on the fence about picking up the DLC, granted, I know I've said it's been out for a pretty long time at this point, but I did get enjoyment out of it. I'll be honest, when it comes to Pokemon games, I kind of don't go in with the highest of expectations. I just kind of want to have something fun to do, or at least, something that a storyline that's like at least reasonably engaging and just having fun with like the core concepts of the franchise. Like, I'm pretty easy to be entertained when it comes to these games. It's not like, other games that I play where I maybe kind of go in with higher expectations. So there is Kadabra. This is the second printing following 151 that we've been able to get a Kadabra card. So it's cool to see that they're bringing Kadabra out. But yeah, I did have fun with it. Again, I know I kind of said in one of my other openings, I felt that a lot of the legendary Pokemon in the DLCs were a little bit more balanced than what we got in Sword and Shield. So Calyrex was extremely good, especially if you're using the Shadow Rider variant, and then both forms of Urshifu have been absolutely busted. So while Ogerpon is good and it is seeing a lot of play, it definitely does seem to be a lot more reasonable, and that is a really cool artwork there for Snorunt. Alright, and then there we go. We got a full art of Okidogi, which I would say if I did have to pick out of the three, I think Okidogi would be my favorite out of them, just because I do like dogs. But yeah, that's just kind of my thoughts on the DLC. I don't think it's anything that's really super game-changing, but it did have some cool stuff in there. Plus, it is always nice to, you know, add some more unique members to your team, especially if you're someone whose favorites weren't in the original base game. There is a chance that maybe you'll be able to access them in the DLC, which, for me, being a big Charizard fan, you can always count on that they're going to add that early into the game anyways. So, again, on my end, I'm usually pretty content with that. Then we got Dracoloak here, a Sandshrew. And there we go. Okay, so this is the Wellspring Mask for Ogerpon. So we at least did get two out of the 4 different masks that you can get. So we have the Teal Mask and then the Wellspring Mask. So that is the one that would give it the secondary water typing, which I believe Wellspring is actually right behind Hearthflame, which is the fire type mask for Ogerpon in terms of popularity. And then I think after that it's kind of like the Teal Mask and then whatever the rock type one is. I just really haven't seen anybody get too excited about the rock typing for it. And then we have Alakazam there. Very traditional Alakazam looking pose. We are coming down here. It looks like we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 packs left. So if you all could, please hit that like button and be sure to subscribe to the channel, share the video, all that other fun stuff. Leave a comment if you want to. And then we got Ducklet, Palisand, Timber, Watrel, and then Glimora. Coming down now on the final 5 here. We are taking a little bit more time with this one, just because we only have 1 box to go through. But hopefully we will get, well, I know we'll be getting some English stuff, so we might, or we definitely will be seeing, oh, there we go. So we got Luxray EX. Very cool looking artwork for that. Always a shame that Luxray wasn't part dark type. It definitely gives off those vibes. But anyways, we will be seeing more of this set. We'll probably be seeing it in English next. And then probably do some minor stuff with that. I might see if there's any more English 151 products that I can get my hands on, and maybe we'll do some more openings of that as well. And then Heracross, and okay, so those are all 4 of the different masks there, just kind of for reference. So we've got the Wellspring and the Teal Mask, and then there's the Hearthflame, and then whatever the rock one's called. I don't think I even bothered to use that. But I've at least kind of messed around with the other 3, but I've just never been a big rock type fan. Got another Kadabra here. So that is the Kitakami regional variant of Sinistee. Finizen. Heatran. Okay. Did not remember that he was in this set as a holo, but it's at least an interesting artwork. And then Swanna. So we got 2 packs left here. Let's see if maybe we can get one more big hit out of it. Even if we don't, I'm at least happy with what we've gotten so far. Chimecho, which I do like that design for Chimecho. Litwick. Keenan, or Keegan, I can't remember which it is, and then Tatsugiri, but he is the brother to Carmine, who is one of the main protagonists in that DLC. I actually do kind of like his story arc. Granted, it is extended into the Indigo disc, but I did like it. So here's our last pack here. We got Sunkern, Darumaka, and now I'm drawing a blank on it. And let's see. Nope. So doesn't look like we hit on anything good on our last pack there, but we did end on the Mightyena, which is one of my favorite Gen 3 Pokemon. So we'll take that. It's a small victory, not really a major one, but we'll count it. But overall, we did get some decent stuff here. We'll kind of go through a quick little recap of our bigger hits. We won't go through the hollows there. But we did get the full art for Okidogi, the full art for Tatsugiri. Then we got Luxray EX. Then we have the Ogerpon Wellspring Mask EX. The full art Driplet. Dragapult EX. Something, something, something. That's our A-Spec. We did get the full art for the Teal Mask variant of Ogerpon. And then, of course, the standard version of the Teal Mask of Ogerpon. So that's it for today. Thank you all for watching. Like I said earlier, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that. You know, that dirty blood sacrifice that YouTube asks you to make you. But if you could do that, it's greatly appreciated, and be sure to stay tuned. We should be opening up some English Twilight Masquerade here whenever that drops, as well as hopefully some more 151, and we'll catch you next time.